Hey guys. So, a lot of people want to try Words of Power, but it seems like a huge investment because the games they're used to are a huge investment. Playing Words of Power is really, really simple. I prefer to do it all through text. So, that's what we're going to talk about today. How would you play Words of Power all through text? A lot of games people are used to, we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons specifically. They require like minis and dice and a whole character sheet and reference books and usually a pretty big grid. Some of the abilities have up to like 300 feet of range, with each square being 5 feet. Words of Power was designed from the ground up to be playable in an airport with a single d6. Now, it has expanded beyond that a little bit to provide slightly deeper rules if you have a full set of dice, but that full set of dice is the only requirement to play the full rules. You can absolutely play with a single d6, you can absolutely play with a sheet of paper. So, what do you actually need to play Words of Power? You need a piece of paper, you need a pen, you need at least one d6 or some way to randomize things. And that is literally it. All of the rules will fit in your brain easily because most of them are a single d6 roll, and the rest is words. It's not stats, it's not numbers, it's not math, it's not referencing charts. It's literally 1d6 rolls and words. Words that you come up with. Okay, but what if you want the battle board and all you have is paper? It's really, really simple. So you're going to do 4 circles. You're going to divide the first circle and the second circle in half. This creates B ring. Outside of those 2 lines, about halfway, you're going to do 2 more lines to create C ring. And then outside of that, on either side of those lines, you're just going to divide it again. And that creates D ring. And that's it. That is functionally identical. Now, you can scale this up if you want like a better, more reliable experience. My mom has a laser engraver, so I had her try printing it on a piece of leather. Now, this is bendy. I can roll this up, I can put my drink on it, I can throw it in a bag, and I can take it anywhere. It's dope. I love it. I also did the same thing on another piece of leather with a felt tip marker. And I get that this looks kind of complicated at first, but actually it's 4 circles and some lines. It's very simple once you do it once or twice, and that's your battle board. You can create one on the go, on the fly, you can make as many as you need to. If you're in class, you can just doodle it down. If you're at work, you can just doodle it down. I'm planning at some point to get a mouse pad with that symbol on it, just to make it easy for me. But as long as you have a labeled battle board, you can discuss all the tactical depth you want through just text, because you can say the goblin in D1 moves to D8. You can say I want to move from B1 to B2. You can say, hey, can my spell reach everything in the D ring? And everyone knows what you're talking about without physically seeing the same layout. So when I play at home, when I play with the full game and all the rules and I'm play testing and I'm trying to get things right, I play with one of those leather mats. I have several sets of dice. I have a sack of old D&D minis. But you don't actually need any of that. The only mechanics in the entire game that require anything other than a d6 and a piece of paper are two-handed weapons and ranged attacks. And those are from example charts that don't have to apply to your game. You can absolutely simulate that by rolling 2d6 for two-handed weapons, or rolling a d6 and dividing by 2 to simulate a d3 for ranged attack damage. And so playing through text, you won't lose any resolution, you won't lose any depth or mechanical advantage. You can do all the things just playing through text. There are advantages and disadvantages, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what it even is. A lot of people think that you need to write multiple paragraphs and really get into the writer's mindset to write these very poetic descriptors of what you're doing and how the smell of the steel. No, none of that. It's just normal texting with your bros. That's it. The DM will probably put a little more effort in and write full paragraphs, but you as a player, you just text like, oh man, can I hit that guy? Oh man, I want to search for traps. Like, it's totally normal texting. you don't have to do anything crazy. So here's some reasons that I personally prefer text, and some advantages that like you might not expect. So I hate voice chat so much. If there are 3 or more people on voice chat, I will clam up. I can't talk because I'm unwilling to talk over people, and people never shut up. A lot of the time, you'll make a separate channel for out of character or general chat, and then you'll just have one roleplay chat where the game takes place. So you can resolve things and people catch up quickly. This is actually a lot more immersive than playing through voice. Because as much as I enjoy sitting around the table and making jokes about Dre's stink stick, it does take you out of the game a little bit. Through text, I don't have to imagine that Billy, the big gruff mailman, is playing a little tiefling girl. I read his text, and the voice is in my head. I don't have to do that suspension of disbelief quite as hard. It is much easier to envision the world when you can just go at your own pace and read things in whatever voice you want. So it's actually quite immersive to play through text. If you have kids, or like you are just interrupted frequently, or you're at work or school, you don't have to be on voice and like give it 1,000% of your focus. You can write a message and then go to the bathroom. You can write a message and then go cook dinner. And nobody's expecting you to sit there for 6 straight hours playing. It's kind of, hey, I'm going to text as frequently as I can because I'm playing this game, but people understand that I'm not going to respond instantly, which is a huge advantage. Generally, it is polite to let people know when you're done for the day, like, hey guys, I will be back tomorrow to play, right? Like, so nobody's waiting around like, oh man, one more move before bedtime, but no. So at least I think that the advantages are really obvious. But what are some of the disadvantages of playing through text? Some of the disadvantages are that you do end up waiting around for people a little bit. People are not always the most polite about letting you know when they're done for the day, or letting you know that like, hey, we're going to play for these 4 hours and then I got to bounce. If you are bad at keeping the model of the game, the model of the fiction in your brain, you can end up rereading a lot of the same messages to get caught up. And that can be less fun than sitting down at a table and just, rolling with it. Some people are really, really slow at typing. This is painful for both the person typing and the person reading. Because you're going to see that little, they're typing, right? And you're like, oh. And then 30 minutes later, they're still typing. And you don't know how. And then the message comes through and it's like, I draw my sword. It's like, it took you 30 minutes to type I draw my sword. Very frustrating. But a lot of people also get caught up in editing, right? So you'll type something that's totally reasonable, and then because it's writing and it's not speaking, you'll go back in and you'll edit it and you'll be like, no, this is better, this is better, this is better. And I think that's a mistake, personally, for role-playing through text. Like, just send it. Just send it. We're all here to have a good time. You just want to see what happens next. It doesn't matter how well you write it. Nobody's going to, like, drop their pants because you wrote so well. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, another big advantage of playing through text is that I don't have to think about or know about anything about the player behind the character. Some people are really annoying at the table. They're too loud, they make too many jokes, or they make like bad jokes, or maybe like their English is not the best, and so there's a lot of what'd you say? What'd you say? And like, that's not great. Through text, you don't have to deal with any of that. You are interacting directly with the character rather than the player, and so cut out a lot of tabletop bullshit. You don't worry about metagaming, you can hide information from each other, you can go on side quests, you can do whispers, you can do a lot more immersive activity through text than you will ever be able to through voice. Now, playing through voice in person with a battle mat is great fun. I like hanging out with people. But if I want to get immersed in a role-playing game, I do it through text. That's just my preference. This is how I play it. As I've shown you, there are no real requirements for Words of Power. It is absolutely playable at full depth through text only. And so if you'd like to try text-only Words of Power, leave a comment, send an email, join the IRC, come find me, and we will play.